shit, and now I'm just like, screw it. I'm just gonna go beanie and hoodie and just clear my face up. Sick.
I told you in the text, man, the showing up post workout, that shows a little bit of grit.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
You got it, dude. So what do you? So let me. Are you basically like a trainer on the side, or what do you do? What do you do exactly?
I am a manager of a gym. I basically do like a lot of the front desk stuff, but I also coach boxing. So, yeah, that's help supplement my passion, which of course is doing music and making people dance. So,
Heck yeah, man! It's not a cheap hobby or a cheap thing to do on the side. So you got to fund it somehow, dude.
well, you gotta be able to take a couple punches in the face. So I'm good for that. I'm definitely good for that, emotionally and spiritually and physically. So I can take it.
That's the pop punk hardcore kid spirit, dude.
Oh man, you telling me? Yes, sir.
Did you grow up boxing, or is it something you just learned to do as you're older?
Just like my uncles and stuff would just shoot the shit and just let me roll around with them. I didn't really get into boxing until about like 3 years ago, and
Okay.
it was mostly just like as like a workout thing. And then I started working at shout out to Portland City Boxing. I went and signed up, and then 2 weeks later they hired me, and I think it's almost a year now that I've been there, and they made me a manager, and of course I coach my own classes and stuff too, and clients and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man! Boxing is a an absolute beast of a workout, dude.
It's fun. For me, it's like the perfect workout because I'm an Energizer bunny and I tend to tend to get most of my energy out on stage, but I can't always be on stage, so it helps supplement.
Heck yeah, dude! It's funny. I grew up like going to shows every week I could, in high school and all through as long as I could. But now when I go to shows, when I go to like a hardcore pop punk show, I am
Mhm.
absolutely drained. If I go in the pit for more than like 2 minutes, I'm absolutely dusted.
Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is.
I swing my arm twice and I'm like, all right, I'm out of here, man. I'm beat.
I'm always down for a good two-step. Those are my favorite, and anytime I can two-step and jump off stage, that's my favorite stuff.
I'd agree, dude. A little head walking. It's the best thing for the soul, dude. Best thing for the
Uh,
soul.
for some people, I've been dropped on my head before, and that is not fun. Like I'm always like, hey, everyone treat each other like it's family, because if your little brother got dropped on their head, it's about to happen tonight if you don't pay attention. Like it's
No,
chaos.
I
It's
feel that. I
chaos.
feel that. Well, let's jump into it, man. I wanted to say congrats on the new album 3D.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's super cool. We've had so much love. I feel like there's a big weight off my chest now, because I've been holding on to these songs. We finished recording in February. When we started demoing was like about this time last year, and there's a couple of songs that like I was writing parts of it since like 2020, like maybe even
Wow.
further than that, and just a lot of time I just write all the time, and it's really nice to kind of like pick back at a time where like I was like, oh, how was I feeling back then, and then I see like my notes and I just go through like how I was feeling, and like do little words and little things that I could tell that were either like on my mind at the time, and like of course with boxing, I definitely am a dumb blonde with 6 major concussions, so I definitely need to make sure I need to write down everything. But yeah, and it's like, but those words always take me back. So it's nice to go back, read through the stuff. It's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Like, I still feel that way or something, or like I can recognize how I felt back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about the album as a whole? Is there kind of a overall meaning behind the album, or what's can just kind of give me
Yeah.
the whole thing?
So 3D is kind of weird. I guess like at a time, well, the boys and I, when we moved away, we're originally from Hawaii. We grew up there. I was there for about 16 years. The boys about just as much. And yeah, it's a weird thing to like move away from home and be like, yeah, we're gonna make this like our dream, and we're gonna just sacrifice everything. And yeah, it was like a weird feeling, and I was always feeling on like I was always holding on to this feeling that like, maybe we won't make it, maybe we won't you know, everything like could go wrong at any point at any time. And then of course, like right as I guess right into like 2019, 2020, we ended up opening up for Bayside at Hawthorne Theater here in Portland. And we won some like battle of the bands type of deal. And like there's like long story short, we ended up winning because the other bands were like cheating or something. And I was like, I'm not smart. I'm not smart when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm just like, hey, I like one-on-one conversations. I like just meeting people, doing the thing.
Yeah.
I'm not really good at social media, but like I try my best. And yeah, we ended up doing that, and we were supposed to go like we were trying to do like a full US tour and try to really, you know, make it happen. And then COVID happened, and it just always was just like, you know, hey, just giant mic drop on me. And I'm like, okay, well, stay positive, stay positive. And yeah, I think 3D is kind of like the fight for me and for the boys to just like stay positive, though everything is like becomes an uphill battle.
Hmm.
And I guess like I always felt like I was kind of split in between myself, where there was one side of me where I was like really, you know, positive, energetic, ready to do everything that I can. And then the other side of me that was like super negative, and I was fighting that off as much as I wanted to. But then there was points and times where it started to like take over, and I kept like switching in between. And I guess like the first song 3D is kind of like a um you're at like a movie theater, and it's like the guy comes out of the curtain, and he like gives you the little intro, and that's kind of like the intro, and then you go straight into it, and it's just like a massive cycle. And I guess that's kind of like how life is. It's a massive cycle of ups and downs, and we just wanted to share kind of a little bit of what it's been like for the past 3 years. So
Heck yeah, man. You guys absolutely crushed it. In the intro to
thank
this
you.
episode, I mentioned that on the other day I was driving, I got a chance to listen to the album from start to finish. And it's just like, if anybody that grew up listening to pop punk or like is still into it, obviously, it's just one of like those OG, like just really good pop punk albums. Like
Thank you.
it's like that feel good, positive spirit, but then like there's, you know, heavy breakdowns that show a little bit of aggression. It's just like that perfect mesh, man. So I wanted to congratulate you guys on a fucking job well done, dude.
Well, that's the thing. When you make a your first like LP, like we've put out like EPs before, and we were just kind of like shooting the shit with our own music. It's weird, like all hype. We don't really have the same music taste in a lot of things. Like so we kind of like the same bands and stuff, but like my drummer is like a metal drummer, like loves super like mathcore type of drumming, and he's just a psycho. He's just absolutely chaotic, but that's why I love him, because I can write stuff, and then and I just give it to him on a silver platter, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can make this," and he makes it like 10 times better. I'm like, "Fuck, all right, cool." So but then like, and then of course my guitarist Salika, he is just like old school punk, loves Descendants, loves Teenage Bottle Rocket, will go to every punk show possible. And then my bassist, he's like hardcore to the day he dies. He goes, and he's originally from Richmond, Virginia, so he introduced me to like Turnstile.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I honestly I had no idea who the fuck they were. Like I knew some songs and stuff, but then he like put me down the rabbit hole, got me onto Angel Dust. Just oh man, just so many good bands. Like, and I grew up on a lot of that stuff. Like my dad was really into rock and roll, and my mom was like into jazz music. So I like way too much shit. But I've always like attached myself to like pop punk stuff because I'm always been like a kid at heart, I guess.
Heck
And
yeah.
yeah, just trying to like feel that energy. I just want to jump off stage and hang out and party, and that's how pretty much everybody wants to be. And I guess that's another, I guess, like theme to the album too, is you know, everyone at the end of the day, no matter which side of the world you are, like everyone just wants to have a drink and hang with the homies. So I
Heck
guess
yeah,
that's kind of
dude.
like we just wanted to find something that made that compressed into like our first album. And you gotta hit like real hard or go home. So we decided to hit really, really hard.
That's one of my favorite things, you know, when I talk to people now, you know, of course, now being a little bit older and like not so much in, you know, the hardcore scene, quote unquote, is,
Mhm.
you know, people are, you know, they kind of ask, you know, like, what do you like, what is it you liked about this music or whatever? I'm like, dude, it's like, It's literally a group of people having the best fucking time possible, and like everyone's there like solely for the music. Everyone's there to truly like enjoy themselves, and like it's a release, man. Like it's a place to put all your energy and like let out all the bad shit, but like while having the best time possible. And it's just the camaraderie, and the entire scene is it's the coolest feeling in the world. So it's an incredible place to be, dude.
It's a big family. That's how it should be, right? It's like it's a big family.
Exactly. I got to ask you, what's your personal favorite song on the album?
Ooh, yeah. I'm gonna say Redwoods still. Redwoods is just like, um, it's the song that like I guess was where I felt the most angsty, and I felt like I really kind of called out a lot of people, just because it's like, there's a lyric in there where it's like, when was the last time that we talked? I can't remember if I saw your face. And it's like because a lot of times I just like calling people and like, FaceTiming them and seeing them, and there's a lot of people, that I still got to reach out to, but then there's some that like, unfortunately, disappointed me. And life happens, and you can't really grasp all of that, so you kind of just have to move forward. And I just decided to just be angsty as shit, and I just called them all out, and I was like, you know what, like, I don't know, I'm not the type of person to always go like super negative, but I realized that there was something I needed to get off my chest. And a lot of the lyrics in this album, especially in Redwoods too, I feel like I finally got most of it off my chest. And I guess like, yeah, yeah, it just felt really angsty, and I like it feels great. Once I say like I love the shout out to Justin Abel, who put together this record with us. And he and the way that he flowed from out of nowhere into Redwoods is like just instantly like was like my favorite. It's the perfect like red and blue type of thing where you kind of see the differences and like how our feel of things
Mhm.
are. So like I guess from out of nowhere is like a little bit more somber, just because it was like, I guess if I could call myself as I was a kid, like if I could talk to myself as like as I was a kid, what would I say to myself? And then of course, yeah, and like long story short, I guess Jason David Frank, who is the Green Power Ranger. I loved growing up watching Power Rangers and like all that stuff. I was like, I just always wanted to be like a cool dude who could just be a badass, but also be a cool person. And yeah, he really embodied a lot of that, and I really idolized that. And then, of course, unfortunately, he passed away due to taking his own life. But you never know how people are on like on the inside. You can only see what they are on the surface. So it's just try to be nice to everybody. And I was like, if I could talk to him or I could talk to my like younger self, what would I say? And that was kind of like that feel. And then I went and then to go straight into Redwoods was the perfect like like turn. And still you still got a chance to kind of like it didn't feel like it was too hard of a turn. I don't know. He just made it so beautiful, and I'm still like, it still feels so weird. It's only been out for a couple days, and I've already been getting like text messages from my uncle from Australia, and he's like, "Mate, when are you coming down to when are you coming down to visit me?" I'm like, "Shit." I was like, "Okay, cool." So yeah, it's really cool. I'm not really good with compliments, so as you can tell. Yeah, so but it's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I'm stoked you said Redwoods because that's like there's three songs from the album. Obviously, Momentum, and then From Out of Nowhere, and then Redwood. Those are my top three. So I was stoked that was your answer. Um, can you tell me a little bit how All Hype came to be? Like, what's the story up until now? Just kind of the brief overview how the band came to be.
Yeah, so originally I played drums in a band with my best friends from high school and from middle school and elementary, and I started playing drums in that band because I actually kind of wanted to sing, but we needed a drummer, and like we grew up playing like rock band and stuff, and playing drums is kind of fun. So I was like, oh, okay, I can pick this up, I can figure it out. And then yeah, and then I fell in love with drums, and then fell in love with the scene. And like the Hawaii music scene is super super cool. It goes through waves, but there's always like there's so many great musicians out there. And of course I ran into two of them being Alika and Dom, which is my guitarist and my drummer, and they were playing in a band called Even Otters. And I idolized that band because like their lead singer Isis, she was like a mom to me in high school. Like she would basically like baby me, and she because a lot of people would just pick on me all the time. I was the small bleach blonde white dude that just running around, running my freaking mouth. And of course, she basically took me under her wing, and then of course I got introduced to them as well too, like friends of friends, and of course we played a show together. And then I loved Dom's drumming. He somehow loved my drumming, which is kind of crazy because he's just like an absolute monster. And then of course Alika, he's like a really cool dude, just mad chiller, just like one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet. And
The best
yeah,
kind of
we all
people.
yeah, no, and it was like instantly felt like they were brothers to me. And then we started All Hype because I guess both of our bands were kind of like, taking a back seat and wanting to do other things. And then we just decided, we did like a Halloween cover show, which is like a big thing in Hawaii. And the bands will play like their favorite bands or whatever. And we decided to do Neck Deep, and we ended up dressing up as the kids next door, and we called ourselves Balls Deep because we were just angsty teens. And yeah, no, it was fun, and it was like my first time actually singing in front of people. Most people saw me behind the kit, and which funny enough, honestly, I knew nothing about Neck Deep until Dom showed me them, and instantly fell in love with them. I was like, oh man, this is what I've been looking for, you know what I
Dude,
mean?
they're
And that's
perfect.
yeah, and it was perfect. And yeah, I was stoked. I was stoked from the beginning, and we got a really good response from it. We decided to write some bullshit songs. We did like I think we did like a No Effects cover or something for our first All Hype show. And it was really short and sweet. I got my one of my best friends, Kyle, who played guitar in my other band, um, and he killed it on bass. And then of course Alika playing guitar, and then Dom playing drums, and I was just like, okay, this feels right. Yeah, and then Alika was like, "Yeah, let's make this thing happen." Like, what? Okay, cool. And they were deciding to move to Portland, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I've had island fever forever, and this is when opportunity knocks at your door, you kind of have to take it. And it's hard to say that, but so far it's brought me here, and it's been a great ride so far. Then I guess like Paul joined the band about like you know, right out of the pandemic, we needed a bassist, and we just been mostly like playing tracks and whatnot too. And yeah, he was of course like a good friend of ours, and of course 1 degree away from us in the music scene. He knows everybody that we know, and he knows like everybody that we know, and all that stuff. And it's just yeah, it's so weird. It's a small island, small world, and then instantly like we all connected, and yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. Which ironically enough, of course, I'm the only one on this call. But well, it's Dom works at a place, and then of course Alik is actually on tour with this band called Chlorine, also from here in Portland.
Okay.
And they're killing it, doing emo night, doing a bunch of good shows.
Sick.
They'll be back in Portland on the 15th. So if anybody's watching this, September 15th. Damn, we're in September. Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
Already
Mid September
realizing.
already.
Yeah, September 15th, we're playing at Mono Occulta for their homecoming show. And it's like the first show we're playing after the album's being released. So it's going to be very interesting. Very
Sick,
interesting
dude.
to see.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll have this episode will go live on Tuesday, so the 12th. So
Oh,
it'll
okay,
it'll,
cool,
it'll be
cool.
live before then, so that's perfect. So
Sweet.
I was gonna have you intro all the members of the band, but you just knocked that out. So that was money. So thank you.
I got you. I got you. We're on the same
Um,
wavelength. I got you, Rock.
no, that was money, dude. Thank you. Who does most of the in your guys' band? Who does most of the songwriting, or is it kind of a collective effort between everyone?
It's definitely a collective effort.
Okay.
I think Alika and I definitely put together a lot more of like the lyricality and the I guess like the song composure or writing. I guess Dom has some really good feels, like a song that we wrote called "City of Roses." He put together the like beat of it, and I just kind of built a song around that. So and then of course like you know Paul's just started jumping into writing songs with us, and all of his bass parts are like I personally love because he kind of brings like a grounded like feel to us because we're all like chaotic and going all over the place, but he's just like drives that bass. He has like a really good tone, and it's like hard to find like a bassist who's like solid and also like level headed. Which is yeah, and like yeah, no, he wants to like, you know, he wants to also like move around and actually like have fun, and he's like the perfect like anchor for basically what we've always wanted to write, and it shows in the album too. But like yeah, I guess most of the time, like whenever we come up with a song, it's usually just out of nowhere. Like we'll just come up with stuff. I'm always writing. But I usually, when I go to like demoing songs, I'll write like a basic you know, template for everything. I do a lot of stuff like behind the scenes wise, and I'll just like record stuff in our studio. And then I'm just like, okay, boys, here you go. And then I'll just let them just have fun with it. Cause I think that's the best way of writing too, is like, you know, it's not just, me who writes it. It's all hype. It's like, it's not
Yeah.
just Paul McCartney. It's the Beatles. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what
Yep.
I've always loved. And, I think it's very important that, especially when you're in a band, that you kind of make it a whirlwind of a smoothie and you throw your ingredients in and you just see where it goes. Because that's what makes really good music, and you can never like it'll never stop. That's the same thing with like I love System of a Down for the way that Serge is able to like still sing, but everything else is going on and chaotically behind the scenes. And you can hear it and you see it and it feels natural, I guess is the best way to look at it. Um, yeah, so I guess it's just always chaos. It's always chaos and all hype. So
I-
yeah.
that's the beauty of it, brother. So you guys, obviously you mentioned it too, from Honolulu to Portland. I have to ask this question, dude. How's the pop punk scene in Hawaii?
Dude, the pop punk scene in Hawaii is really cool. There's a lot of really good bands out there. Uh, God, I'm really bad with names. There's a band that reminds me of me when I was a kid called No Hero.
Okay.
And they're a couple of Kailua boys that they're really good for their age, really good for their age, and it goes to show you that like you know the scene and everybody on that island is so freaking talented. Our boys in TV Microwave and Feeble are absolutely killing it. If you want to listen to like some real Hawaii pop punk, that's TV Microwave's Ouchie Bunga's record came out on my
Okay.
birthday, my 18th birthday, which
Oh,
was
how
like
rad.
it's just a huge like a big gift to me because I didn't want to do anything but go to a show, and I went to like their show on my birthday, and like yeah, that like solidifies how I felt pop punk in Hawaii was really. But there's so many good bands. Like Dom was in a bunch of bands, being like the best drummer on the island. He was just always playing all the time. Poncho's a really good band. There's a bunch of bands that kind of like go in and out. Kill Tuco's another good band that I really like. And then there's also like a lot of really good like hardcore and reggae bands too. Like we grew up mostly like with the reggae bands and the hardcore
Yeah.
kids, and then of course we're the pop punk guys that like we'll play some stuff that's like a little emo, somber inside, but also like energetic as shit. Because we just want to like we want to fit in most of the time, but we just have different influences. But yeah, I guess yeah, the pop punk scene is always great out there. It just depends on who's playing because I it's always changing and I never know who else is playing. 8250 just went out with they did a show, what was it? California's for Lovers, I think. They went and popped on that show, and that was really
Mhm.
cool. Uh, honestly, it's like it's always weird because there's always a band that you know, but you don't really know
Mhm.
until someone mentions it to you. And yeah, there's too many names to count.
Well, for the first time ever in my life, after we get off this call, I'm gonna go just listen to Hawaii pop punk all day. So I'm
Oh, dude,
fucking
yeah,
stoked.
no, there's so much good stuff. Like, um, yeah, like I there's so many people I could recommend to you. I literally that's why I make playlists all the time. I never know. Like, I'm gonna turn my brightness up too because I'm starting to go dark over here. Um, but yeah, it's God, yeah, I'll give you a playlist. I'll give you
I
a
was gonna say,
playlist.
just shoot me a text with some bands or a playlist too, because I'm actually really stoked to listen. Speaking of islands, if you had to be stuck on an island with one band, it could be any band. Who would it be and why?
Oh man, I got this question a while ago. I'm gonna change my answer though because uh, I really enjoy like if I'm stuck with one band, I said Third Eye Blind, and it was the first record. But if I'm stuck with like a band specifically, um, I'm gonna have to say Sum 41, like for
Uh,
sure. Yeah, Sum
that's
41 for sure.
what a beautiful answer, dude. What a
Yeah,
beautiful
yeah.
answer.
Well, because I'm always like I like too much music. Like today, I was listening to Outkast while I was meal prepping for the rest of the week,
Was it
and I'm just
ATLians?
I was listening to so like that. I was listening to Kanye West. I was listening to like some like old Michael Jackson hits. I was listening to the Gap Band. I just put on like a playlist, and like every season I try to like make a new like playlist for how I'm feeling throughout the season or whatever. So like last season it was like summer vibes. So I had like the 1975's cover from Knuckle Puck, Chocolate.
Oh, it's
That was like
dude,
that one.
so good.
Amber by 311 was another one. Yeah. But like, yeah, I'm always going in and out of stuff. But if I'm like stuck with something, it's all killer, no filler all day. All day. Like by Sum 41, I can listen to that record on repeat every
That
single day for the rest of my life.
that feels like a pretty good album release season album to listen to. So I
Oh
respect
yeah.
that, dude.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the cool thing about writing for 3D was like we need to write a really good first record. So if we're gonna
Yeah.
do it, let's take influences from really good first records. And I was listening to a lot of Sum 41. I was listening to some like old school Blink 182. Like I love Dude Ranch. I was listening to
Yes.
Nimrod by Green Day. Dookie's cool, but I don't think it was very like our style because that's a little bit more like in your face type of stuff. And I was thinking a little bit more, I guess, like uh, I don't know. I want to play in like small rooms, but I also want to play in stadiums. So I wanted to kind of get like I want to get like the grasp of both worlds, so it doesn't seem too polarizing, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but I was listening to like all that stuff. I was listening to Bayside, like their first records. There's as my microphone goes out.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah, but yeah, there's there's so many things. There's so many records and stuff I was listening to. I think the main thing while writing this record, like I was listening to was just like what did I love about writing songs back then. Like when our first song "Sit and Spent,"
Mhm.
I wrote that drunk and just got broken up with, and and I like left a show, and I just decided to just sit out on a curb and just hang out by myself. And I just wrote that and just like an angst, and I was like, okay, well, let me kind of get back to that kind of feel, and you know where was I at during that time, and how can I present that to now where I still, I don't know, there's always weird growth in between.
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. And you guys, you can just feel it in the album. I mean, if you go listen to like your guys's, like some of your older singles to this album, I mean, you can feel an incredible amount of growth just in this entire project, dude. It's truly impressive, man. It's a really good album. If you guys are watching on YouTube, you can see the ticker down at the bottom. Like we mentioned in the interview, they have a brand new album called 3D out now. So anywhere you listen to music, please go check that out. Mike, I can't thank you enough for being here, dude. That was super rad. And shout out
Thank
to
you.
all your boys. Hopefully they get a chance to listen to you, give them a couple shout outs. But I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Brock. This is super fun.
Yeah, dude, thank you. And we get to, like I mentioned, we get to play obviously songs from the album in this episode.
Okay, cool.
Obviously with momentum off of the charts because I already put it on there. What song do you want me to make sure I play from the album?
Um, You know what? I'm gonna pull a crazy one. I'm gonna say Sucker Punch because that was a fun one to write. Some backstory on Sucker Punch was we had the hardest time writing this song, and it was because like I just kind of came up with like the little like crowd chanty type of thing, and it was just stuck in my head, and then. I wanted to write something that was a little bit more like a cappella in the beginning because not a lot of bands do that, or they kind of just take away the like band and then I try to feel as naked as possible. So I brought Alika along with me, and we kind of, and then us going doing like the back and forth was so much fun. So yeah, listen to Sucker Punch. It was a fun ride to make that.
Hell yeah. All right, guys. We're actually going to go straight into that song then. This is Sucker Punch by All Hype. Everyone go follow at All Hype Band. Mike, thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, mate.
See ya.